the coveted SCCA Trans Am Manufacturers title was concerned. General Motors, through a combination of Chevrolet 3 times and Pontiac once, captured the title 4 times. Ford, with its Lincoln Mercury Merkur in the mid-80s and Mustang in '89, racked up 5, and Audi from Germany garnered 1. This decade, however, has seen a dominance by the Bowtie Brigade as they've taken all but last year with a point spread between 14 in 1990 and a whopping 41 in 1992. Until the combined forces of Roush and Gloy unseated them in 1994, it appeared as though the 90 would be the exclusive domain of Chevrolet. Now, with just 2 races left in the '95 season, Ford's arch-rival stands ready to claim its 5th championship in 6 years, a feat never before achieved. Should Chevrolet take 1st and 2nd in today's Trans Am event, they will wrap it up. The battle for corporate bragging rights will be over, and Ford will only be able to wait till next year, a circumstance that does not sit well with the protégés of Old Henry.
Well, we aren't willing to give it up that easy, so we still got 2 races to go, and we're going to still try and try to win the Manufacturers Championship for Ford. The series is tougher than ever right now. It's the best racing, and real racers, they really like this when it comes down to this.
What we're trying to do is just have the levelest playing field that we can. If the Chevrolet guys do a better job, we want it to be because they did a better job, not because maybe they had an advantage or maybe we had an advantage. If we can make the cars the same and the best guys, Will and his guys, or Roush and their guys, or Gloy and their guys, can do the best job and the best guys will win the deal, that's what we're trying to accomplish. That's what I'd like.
I think they shouldn't count their chickens before they're hatched. I mean, I have a bunch of friends in Ford Mustangs, and I got a sure-fine Mustang, and you know, this weekend we're going to do everything we can to kick their butt.
Given Ford's feelings, it's interesting to take a look at some key categories, and noting that Ford has outdistanced Chevrolet in all but the one that counts, the race event wins. In every other category, Ford has led the way all year long, and that might explain the manner in which Chevrolet responds to Ford's complaints.
Well, first of all, on the statement of being almost ready to get it, we're still 2 races away, and looking back at Elkhart Lake, where we finished 6th, we really can't count on manufacturers yet. We're hoping to get that one, certainly, but we're not there yet, so we're still working on that. One thing we always look at is a lot of the statistics as far as not only race wins, but qualifying results, fast laps, and so on, laps led. And we think that SCCA has done a pretty darn good job of keeping the series pretty darn even this year. But it really comes down to the individual performance of different teams, and the American Equipment Racing team specifically has done a real good job as far as getting a car set up for the race that's still running very, very well at the end of the race, and that's the real key here in this series, just because the series is so competitive that you've got to have a car that's running 100 miles very well, just as well at the end of the race as it did at the beginning of the race.
Ford's problem is they're having difficulty translating their pole positions into race wins. And consequently, they're catching a lot of heat from Chevrolet at this point for the Manufacturers Championship.
Well, you know, the Ford guys have always had a bad case of the wannabes. You know, they always want to be the Manufacturers Champion. Well, you know, we kind of have a saying around here. If it whines and cries, it must be a Ford.
Welcome to Prime Network's presentation of round number 10 of the 1995 SCCA Trans Am Championship, coming to you from the southeastern United States, the beautiful circuit at Road Atlanta. Hi everybody, I'm Bill Adam, and today we have a slightly damp track currently, but as we've seen all season long, weather conditions have been changeable for our racing series. Well, even though this is the next to last race in the series, the Manufacturers Championship can be wrapped up today, but not so for the Drivers' Championship. In spite of the fact that he has yet to win a race, Tommy Kendall, by dint of consistent qualifying and high finishes, still leads nearest competitor Ron Fellows by 15 points. Fellows, of course, has won 5 of the last 6 events, including our most recent contest at Watkins Glen. But can he really catch Kendall? Well, let's go down to Professor Chris McClure for a quick course on the science of championship points.
Well, Bill, the points procurement procedure for any given race weekend involves 3 different levels. The first of those is the Fast 5 qualifying. If you're the fastest qualifier, you get 5 points. Second fastest, 3. Third fastest, a single point. So they put that on the ledger. Then, in the race itself, if you lead a single lap, you get a point. You lead the most laps, you get 1 more. And, of course, they pay points for finishing position. First place is 30, then 27, 25, and on down the list through 25th position. The most any driver can get in a race weekend is 37. Ron Fellows did that earlier this year during his 5 out of 6 streak. Now, that's how you put it all together. And with that in mind, we had a chance earlier to talk to the 3 remaining antagonists for the championship. Now, in the case of Tom Kendall, 57 more points, regardless of what anyone else does, and the championship is earned. I don't know that you're counting points just yet, but that is the fact.
That's the fact. Unfortunately, there's still 69 still available. So it's, with 2 races to go, we can't really sit back and get too complacent. You know, we need to finish. We need to win this race, really, and that would make things a lot better going into the finale. No one's going to have it clinched, and it's just a matter of you know, we got to race for every position we can get. Every qualifying point's important, and every race point is important.
It's down to 3, and we'll meet the other 2 in just a moment. But with that in mind, it's 2 guys you know very, very well. Does that help in the situation?
I just know they want it as bad as I do, you know, and everybody's going to be doing everything they can. There's 3 good teams involved, 3 good cars, and 3 good drivers. So I'm glad I'm in front rather than chasing, you know, but it's still far from comfortable.
If Ron Fellows is able to maximize points through the rest of the year, he'd wind up with 306. That would leave Tom Kendall the chance to get 309, but he'd have to perform very, very well. You're the hottest guy around, and you said over the last several races in this streak of yours that the only thing you can do is all you can do and let the chips fall where they may.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. You know, it's like last week you mentioned to me at Watkins Glen, hey, you won 5 of the last 6. I mean, I hadn't really thought about it. Because it's not good enough. You know, this team has just done a great job, and we've just always tried to stay focused on getting back in the championship hunt. And it doesn't matter how many races we win, we just got to get as many points as we can.
With the intense pressure, the manufacturer's battle, this points battle.
Well, I always have fun when I drive. Yeah, no, the driving part is the fun part, and it's even more enjoyable when you've got a very good car. And you know, I've had some really enjoyable races this year. You know, I consider Detroit and Three Rivers the 2 highlights for me so far. The best race car I've ever had was at Watkins Glen. You know, this team has just done an absolutely fabulous job, and I know there's been lots of whining and complaining, but you know, I'm the guy who's driven both a Camaro and a Mustang, and both very good ones. And I'll tell you what the difference is between a Camaro and a Mustang. It's Will Moody tuning and engineering this car. That's the difference.
In the case of Darcy Schrader, the maximum points yield now for the year would be 282, and if he gets that, he also needs Ron Fellows to finish the last 2 races 6th or worse, and Tom Kendall 10th or worse, then he could get the championship. That's a tall order, but you long ago in this season gave up talking seriously about the title.
Yeah, we needed a little help. You know, we got way behind on the first race in Phoenix. We threw out that race and got behind everybody, and we've run good since, but without a little help, the way this point situation, SCCA's got these qualifying points, we've really got hurt by that, and our on-track racetrack performance has been pretty good, but we've been hurt badly by the qualifying thing. So it's not over. You know, we got 2 to go, and anything can happen. But yeah, we need a lot of help, and we just haven't been getting any help lately at all.
And so there you have it, the points perspective coming into race day at Road Atlanta. And remember, we will have a test a little later on. Meantime, they're getting ready to roll the cars out. We're ready for action, and we'll be back to Road Atlanta in a moment.
Using the advanced technology of the Eagle Talon, Dr. Van Ostel, cardiologist. Okay. Faces perhaps his greatest challenge yet.
Clogged artery on the 405. Tea time in 16 minutes. Keys.
How we doing, Doc? Pulse rate's up, heart rate's accelerated. Seems like a normal reaction to Talon's 210 horses. It's all-wheel drive. It's amazing. I think I'm going to make it. Haven't missed a tea time yet.
Test it yourself. Make the call. 1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE.
Don't Don't wait. Get the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the news weekly of motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, now.
Call 1-800-232-1520 for this TV race weekend special. Get Auto Week at the lowest price ever, $19.95 for 52 issues. But don't wait, this special offer expires midnight on Tuesday. Get Auto Week at the lowest price ever. Call 1-800-232-1520 now.
Today we're at the Eagle Test Drive sale along with Vicki Edmondson.
I'm just checking out this Talon deal. The commute is really getting to me in my Acura.
I could see you in an Eagle Talon.
Yeah, I could too. 140 horses, double wishbone suspension.
Well, aren't we speedy?
Woo! This Talon deal is unbelievable.
So's the traffic out there.
Lease Eagle Talon ESI now for only $229 a month.
Coverage of the 1995 SCCA Trans Am Championship is being brought to you by Eagle. Test drive the all-new Eagle Talon at your local Eagle dealer. In spite of the fact that Road Atlanta is considered to be one of the premier facilities in the entire continent, Trans Am has only competed here 9 times during the past 29 years. Interestingly, from 1973 forward, there have only been 9 separate winners as well. No one has been able to post a second victory. A thought that must have surely crossed the respective minds of Kendall, Fellows, and Schrader, all of whom desperately need to win here to help support their claim to the Drivers' Championship that will be bestowed upon one of them at the conclusion of this, the 30th year of Trans Am competition. The 2.52 miles and 12 turns of this historic venue have puzzled some of the best minds in the sport, and one of those who may or may not be currently puzzled is our expert commentator, David Hobbs.
Bill, it is a bit of a puzzle, and in my opinion, it's the most difficult and complex road racing facility in North America, and that's why it's difficult for anybody to win twice here. As we start off a lap, we've just exited turn 12, a very fast downhill right-hander, and we go on to the pit straightaway, which is also slightly downhill and very fast. The front straight here is pretty long, very fast, and slightly downhill, and that downhill attitude continues as you go into turn 1, so you've got adverse camber as you try to turn into this corner. As you start reaching the apex, the road starts to go uphill quite steeply, and now you've got camber helping you, so the exit of turn 1 is very, very quick. And you've got a very short, sharp straight here into turn 2, which is right at the top of the hill. This is a critical corner because as you sweep through turn 2, you're getting pretty tough on the brakes for turn 3, which is an important little corner. As I said, turn 3 is the top of the hill, and between 3 and 4 there's no elevation change, but as you get the car set up for turn 4 and turn into 4, we now start a real roller coaster ride down through 4, long fast corner, and this is now the S's. And all these have to be taken in one really fast flowing move, and you want to end up on this side of the corner here as you go into turn 5, where the road starts to rise again. But as you exit turn 5, you really want to make a good job of that because you've got a fairly long downhill straightaway which is leading into turn 6, which is going to be a great spot for overtaking. The Trans Am cars are going to come out of turn 5 in 3rd gear, absolutely hard on the throttle, lots of wheel spin, and they're still climbing. Right about here, the road starts to fall down again, and as we come into turn 6, we've got a downhill approach. It's wide, it's smooth, and we're going to see a lot of jostling for position here as we go into 6. And right about at the apex, the road starts to rise again slightly into turn 7, and more jostling for position here. However, the drivers want to be very careful here that they don't mess up turn 7, because the exit of this leads on to the longest and fastest straightaway here. As the drivers exit the hairpin, they're faced with a long, fast straightaway, and there's no elevation change as they go down this straightaway until they come to turn 9. And right about here, the road starts to drop away again very, very steeply, and when they get to turn 10, right here at the apex, they're at the lowest part of this racetrack again. Suspensions bottom out, very tough on the car, very tough on the driver, and twice yours truly has exited here with suspension breakages on the right rear of a Can-Am car and a Formula 5000 car, and spun all the way up the hill to turn 11, and I never left the pavement on either occasion. As we exit turn 10 right at the bottom of the hill, steep climb up now to turn 11 and hard on the brakes as we come into the turn 11 area. The vehicle access bridge is here, so it's blind from that point of view, and the apex of the corner is right on the brow of the hill, so we've got the apex and the brow. As soon as we cross the apex, we start going downhill again steeply on the way to turn 12, which in these Trans Am cars is almost flat out, about 135 miles an hour.